Welcome to Battleground Believers. We're going to continue our conversation with Matt Carter. When we left off last time, he just graduated high school and was in basic training. And we found out that at that time, the military didn't assign you where you were going until you got into basic training and AIT, and they kind of basic training, and they figured out how you could perform, and then they kind of assessed you from there and then decided which way to send you. So when we left off, you were in basic training and you were getting ready to talk about how, because of your PT score and probably some other assessments, that you sound like a stud at that time, and they kind of pushed you towards a Ranger contract, right?
So at first, yeah. So they pushed me towards it was mentioned about a Ranger contract. There was 3 of us just in my platoon, but to do the Ranger contract, you also still had to do first, like in the overlay for it, we would go to airborne school, which was another 3 weeks. Which we had a week. I think I had about a week. It might have been 2 weeks. I don't know. Time just kind of flew when we were down there, but it was a certain amount of time in between that and going to be able to go to the airborne school.
Okay.
And then from there, then based off of how you do that, then you go further and further and further type thing. And then so you had the Ranger assessment, RASP or whatever, which is 5 weeks. It's a total of 8 weeks. There's 2 phases to it. Your first phase is they're really beating the living shit out of you. So there you go, Randy. I said it again. I said shit.
Well, this used to be a faith-based podcast, and now we just say anything we want, apparently.
And then they kind of go more into like how your AIT is in the second part of it, just to see how good you. And then once you go through that, once you pass that, then you get to go into the 61-day actual Ranger school.
Okay, so hold on. When you were in basic training, so is it still basic training in AIT?
It's OSET.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all one.
All in one place. Yep.
Yeah, ours was 2. So
Yep.
like the first 8 weeks was basic training, the last 6 were. Did you attend church? Did you talk about faith, or when you got in the military, you're like, Jesus is in the background, I didn't think about him?
During basic, and I would say probably through most of AIT, I did go to chapel because it got me that break.
I was gonna say, I went to chapel, and the only reason was, man, you got a chance to get away and act like a normal human being.
It seemed like every time I skipped chapel, it was always somebody coming in and just destroying our barracks and us having to put it all back together or whatever. And then you're always looking like, well, where's Private so and so or whatever, and oh, they're at chapel. Oh, go figure. Why didn't I go today?
Man.
But yeah, so
I need some Jesus this Sunday, so I don't have to clean.
I honestly couldn't even tell you. I can't think because I didn't have there wasn't a Baptist one. I'm trying to think what it was, what chapel it was that I went to when I was down there. It was like
Were you on Benning, Georgia?
Yeah. It's like non-Protestants or something like that is what they were. And I would go to those. It was church. It was just like almost any other church I went to and stuff. It was cool. The chaplain was really neat. He was really cool. And like the really neat part about, I can't remember his name. I wish I could. But he would come out, and this was really cool about him, is like when we would do our live like night fire courses and stuff like that, the chaplain would be there and he'd do it with us. Like he would literally be in the mud doing it with us. Yeah,
I don't remember.
He was a cool chaplain, and I think that's why I liked going to his, because at that time, like, I really didn't necessarily have a certain denomination I had to be part of. Like it was like, as long as I'm going where God is being celebrated, that's what I'm gonna do. And it's kind of like, it was a break. It was sitting back there.
Yeah. I'm not getting screamed at.
Trying to stay awake without getting screamed at.
So would you say you kind of leaned on my faith as a child, or did it just was a So I never thought about it. Like you and your, I mean, I know in basic training, like paying attention to what you did and said didn't matter because you were saturated in this world where you're talking about, we during my testimony we talked about cadence, and we talked about how the military gets you kind of desensitized to death and killing. When you're in basic training and AIT, you're not thinking about, you're not thinking about the things of God. You're just living.
No, that's very true. Like, no, I felt like, and I mean, I still struggle to today with that disconnection sometimes. Like, I tell people this, and I mean, it's, to me, it's sad too, but I still, like, when my mom passed away, which was just, what, 4 years ago, like, I remember I didn't even cry. Like, and then, like, my kids will even ask me that, like, why don't you cry or whatever, and I just think about, like, because when I'm not here's something that most people probably don't know. At one point in time during raps, I cried. Like, I broke down and I literally was just bawling, right?
That's the
pre-ranger. That's
okay.
That's
Yeah, we used to,
pre-course.
when I went, it was pre-ranger, then ranger school.
This is like a ranger assessment selection program is what it is.
Yeah.
So, I remember the instructor coming up to me. I don't know if he used to be a drill sergeant or what, but I remember him getting in my face and telling me, tears don't fix anything. So, and then
so we're crying, and then he walked up to you and
so
said,
that
tears.
really sunk into me, and it's like, I started sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, in all honesty, and still to this day, that's how I feel. Like, what is the crying fixing? Like, if you're in a really stressful situation and stuff and you start crying, what does that fix? It doesn't really, it makes you feel good, but it doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't fix the situation that you're in. So from like that point on, like, yeah, it was hard, but I think I can count probably maybe 1 or 2 times my entire life from that point on. Now here I am, 39 years old, I cried.
Wait till your body loses testosterone, man. I think I cry daily over stupid stuff.
But
you see that butterfly?
Yeah, so no, I think that is something that service people have a hard time with, is being in the service and then they break you down to really mold you how they want you molded, to make you into what they need you to be, because people can say that they're a natural born killer. Nobody is a natural born killer. You're made to be a natural born killer.
Unless you're broken or there's a demon in you.
Either way, you were still made. Like, nobody is born broken. You're not born broken.
Right.
You're born new. Like, somebody broke you at some point in time and turned you into the way you are. All the serial killers, murderers, anything like that are out there, they were made that way by something or someone who was in their life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how service members are too. Like, that's what those drill instructors' jobs are to do, is to break us down, take the old of us, make sure they throw it away or bury as deep inside you as you can, to turn you into this new thing they need you to do. And then at the same time, desensitize you to not hesitate when you got that person pointing a weapon at you, that you will be the first one to pull the trigger to take them out.
Yeah. I still eat so fat. Like, when we go out to dinner, man, it's like 7 minutes, I'm done. Oh. I look up, my wife's like, I can't believe you eat this fast.
Oh, man. So when I first went to basic, like, that was not me. I was a slow eater, right? And I figured out real quick that if I didn't keep my feet flat on the ground facing my plate and just start shoving, like, I was gonna be hungry the rest of the day. Now, the downfall to it is that if you have a drill sergeant like I had, and he was the most feared drill sergeant down there in Fort Benning at that time. When we were at 30th AG, we were told about him that hopefully when you guys go down range, you don't get Drill Sergeant Hatch. Yeah. Everybody was afraid. Drill Sergeant Hatch was the hardest drill sergeant out of all of them. Like, he didn't play games. He didn't do that type of stuff. But I still remember him because my luck is I got drill sergeant hatch. So, I remember when we were going to chow or whatever a couple times, and this made me like I got used to eating real fast like that and eating my whole plate. Like I mean, they'd let you get whatever you want. That's where like I was telling you how when I joined I was 160 pounds, right, going in. Coming out, once I was coming out of OSET, I was 205 pounds. Like they just made me solid and big. But I would get eggs, I would get bacon, I would get like anything you wanted. Like it was, you were allowed to get whatever you wanted.
Really?
Yep. And we went down, you sit down, but the issue is you had to eat. Like, and I remember getting into the point, like the very first time I picked my eyes up, and unfortunately, I made eye contact with a drill sergeant.
He said, "Yep,
He just grabbed the plate, threw it in the trash, and then I had to go out, and I had 2 bites. And I'm like, I just got smoked for the last 10 hours, and I got 2 bites, and now who knows when the next time I'm coming back in here to eat, or if it's gonna be an MRE that I have to eat, type thing. So, but I remember a few times when we were there, I got good at stuffing my face. Like I would literally just. Yeah, I'd stuff it. I mean, I would be big, right? And as soon as we walked out, this is Georgia in the middle of summer. Yeah. It's hot as hot can be. Like, drill sergeant Hatch would start smoking us right there, right outside of Chow Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Until every last one of us puked up everything we ate.
Yeah. I had to eat lunch in the front line rest position one time because they got mad. Down, take a bite, up, chew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So. Now we're in basic training, you're OSIT, you're headed towards what we call pre-ranger, you called the selection.
So there was airborne in between, but then I went to the pre-selection.
Did you have fun? Did you like airborne school?
Yeah, it was
because now you're a soldier, now you're not being treated like a...
Yeah, you're not getting treated like shit.
So you made it through airborne school okay?
Yep, it was fun.
I never got to go to airborne. I went to air assault school, which was fun, but I always wanted to go to airborne school. What's it like jumping out of an airplane?
I found out I was scared of heights. Never knew.
Did you put the door?
Never knew.
Oh
no,
my gosh.
No, so here's the thing. Like a lot of people, at least in my experience with it, a lot of people talk about that, pausing at the door or whatever, but they make sure that doesn't happen, because what they do is throughout that whole 3 weeks up until the end, you're doing all these towers from different heights where you're just on the static line and you're going down it and you're practicing, right? A lot of times that's where they find out who is afraid of heights and who they can make overcome it and stuff, and then who's hesitant still to jump or whatever, right? So mine, what they did is, once we got there, what they did was the people who were more likely to try to back out got put in the front. So the whole line's just going to keep pushing you, and you're going to go one way or another. So you actually got up in the C-130, you were going.
Yeah. Yeah, because the guy behind you is not going to stop.
No.
Because that guy back there is driving.
It's like, go!
Yeah.
So, no, it was fun. That was fun, too. And then, so like you said, like, part of that is like, you just got done being treated like garbage. Now you're being treated like a soldier. That was the only downfall to going right into that ranger selection, is because now you're back to being treated like shit again, because they're breaking you. They're going to push you as hard as they can with no sleep, very little food, push you to the limits, make you go out and do your nav, make you go out with little sleep.
Is that the ranger stuff or the airborne stuff?
No, that's after. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, you go to the airborne, though, and they treat you again more like you're a soldier. And now you're earning this airborne tab, right? Now, once you leave there, however many weeks later, whatever, that you finally get to go to your selection or whatever, you start going through those phases, but it's back to like almost like when you first came to Fort Benning and you're in red phase of basic training. They're treating you like complete shit again.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then that would have been the point where I broke down at one point in time. Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking like, I literally just punished myself for 20 weeks between those two things, between the OSET and airborne, just so I can come here and get punished for another. Like, do I hate myself that much that this is what I put myself through? Like, that's what's going through my head. Like, why am I doing this to myself? Like, this was a choice. Like, I mean, that was a choice too, but once I was in it. Like, I knew what this was going to be like. Like, I chose this. Like, this is me punishing myself. What did I do to myself to deserve this?
So he comes up to you and says, crying. There's no crying in baseball, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much, he said, crying, I'll never forget it, because he said, crying never solved anything, or fixed anything. And he said it, like, right in my ear. Crying never fixed anything.
So did you pull yourself together? And
yeah, I did. I didn't have a choice. Like, I pulled myself together. So, but
during this time, there's never a consideration of God. There's never praying. There's nothing.
Not really.
At this point, there's no God.
No,
I mean, not that there's not.
No, I know there's a God, but I'm not giving him time.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, it's just like I didn't have the time, which is sad because, like,
you probably needed it more.
I mean, I can't say that because in all honesty, I probably was kind of praying to him, God, just get me through this. Like, let's make this March end. Like, please, I don't want to do another push-up. Please don't let me.
Do you say Jesus' name daily?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I did, and I probably took his name in vain quite a bit during that time too.
Oh, I guarantee
like,
it.
I don't remember. I remember it, but like I won't remember like specific details that I said the F word this many times or type thing. Like, I wasn't considering that. I was just trying to get through that selection phase.
Well, because they my memory is they'll give you like 25 hours worth of work and they'll give you 3 hours to do it.
Yeah,
on purpose.
Dude, it's torture. That's all it is. Is it's literally that whole point is to get you ready for that 61 days. So they want to weed everybody out. So then that way, when you're going into this next phase, they know it's the people who are gonna make it, the people who are gonna
be mentally tough to push.
Mentally tough and do it or whatever. So let me back up a little bit. So the only reason I even said yes to doing airborne or possibly becoming a ranger type thing was because in basic AIT, I had another guy I was telling you about, the 3 or whatever, but there was one that stuck out to me. Me and him wound up becoming really, really good friends, and his name was Stone, was his last name. That's all I'll go into. His last name was Stone. And he pushed me when I needed pushed. I pushed him when he needed pushed. Mm-hmm. He was offered it. He kind of coaxed me into saying yes to go and do these other things with him because he was going to go do them type thing. So it was almost like a battle buddy type scenario going through all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, me and him, we stayed friends for a very long time. I'm trying to think what year it was. Did
you guys go through selection and Ranger School together?
Yep. And then we did like everything together through like, and I didn't even know this kid before basic.
Oh, you met him in basic.
Basic was where we met. We were in the same platoon. So, yeah, it just happened to be fate or God, I guess. You could probably say it was God. So, but with that, though, he wound up passing away. He was actually on a mission, and he passed away in... I really want to get... the dates could be wrong, so if any of his family's watching and they know who I am or whatever, like, I want to say it was like 2012-ish is when he wound up passing away or whatever.
Sorry for him.
He was still in. Yeah, he was a really good guy. And I mean, one of the things that I guess I liked about it is, so he was from upstate. Like he had that accent even like that.
Like a New Yorker?
Yeah, like the Boston New Yorker accent.
Hey, yo, how you doing? I love the New York accent.
And but some of our conversations and stuff, like you said, like God really didn't come up a lot during the things, but during some of the down times when you did get to slow down and me and him actually did get to communicate and stuff, we did talk about God a lot between me and him. And I hate to say it, but he wasn't even like raised in the church, raised in stuff like that. He wasn't big on the faith and stuff like that. But he was the one that always seemed to bring it up with me. And I don't know if it's just because he felt comfortable and he felt like he could ask questions. Because I got friends like that now too that ain't necessarily a believer, but they believe there's something, and they're the same way. And I think some of that is because I've never been pushy about my faith. Like, I feel like God wants us to disciple, and I do believe that He does want us to disciple, but He doesn't want us to go beat it over people's heads. And it's not our job to judge other people either. I mean, you can read people by their character and by what they're doing and stuff like that, and you can decide whether you should be around that person or not, but it's not our job to judge that person or whatever.
Yeah,
So
I have no idea what's going. Yeah.
I've never done that. Like, I've never been the judgy, and I feel like that is some of the reason why people feel like they can come and talk to me, even if they know that whatever it is that their belief might be doesn't necessarily line up with my belief. They feel comfortable still because they know I'm not going to judge them, and they know I'm not just going to be like, no, you're wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, type thing. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into it and ask questions like why they believe what they believe, you know, what it is that, where do they get that from? Like, where did they get that idea of that's what it was or what it is or type thing? And I'm never going to push it on somebody. So,
So you graduate from actual Ranger school?
yes, I wound up graduating from Ranger School.
So you told me that after Ranger school, then you go to another school, right?
Yes. Well, there's RASP 2 is what it's called, and that's where you're going to get selected technically, and you'll know like exactly where you're going. You have to pass everything to be
which
able to get there.
battalion you'll go to.
Where you're going to go.
So
like whether you're actually going to be a ranger or you're just going to be somebody with a ranger tab.
Okay. Yeah. Because when I was going, I was just trying to get my tab. Well, they didn't have
There's
all that.
lots of people that do that. And there's nothing wrong with that because it is a course that challenges you to everything that you can possibly imagine.
It's a leadership school.
Yeah.
So did you graduate that too?
What, the RASP 2?
Yeah.
That's where we can start talking like on the next episode or whatever, because that goes into some pretty depth stuff that I don't think you even know that me or you have ever talked about.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. So we're kind of winding down this episode right now. But what was graduating Ranger school like?
It's a whole experience. Like, I mean,
getting that tab put on there,
it's great, like in that aspect that you did something that not very many people do, but there still is a lot that do it.
Yeah, but man.
But at the same time, it's also one of those things you look back at and you're like, yeah, I'm glad I did that, but what did it really do? Like, I mean, type thing or whatever. Like, I mean, I know it structured me who I am or whatever, and I was very excited at that time that I was one of the ones that got to graduate, and I did what I had to do it. But almost everything I have that, I don't know what it is with me or whatever, I always look back and say, like, why did I do that? Like, type thing. I've always been that person that wants to ask the questions like, why? Why did I have to do that? Why did I do that? Why?
Man, that's one of my biggest regrets in life was not finishing the process because I got hurt. Then I have enough retention to go back and finish. So,
did you ever try to go back?
No, I ran.
Oh.
I did. Matter of fact, I was in the CP, and the first sergeant had said something about maybe going to the E6 board and going back to getting sent back down to go to school. And I had told this guy, man, I'm not re-enlisting. And the first sergeant overheard me. He came in and he said, I'm not sending you anywhere. You're not doing anything until I see a re-enlistment. And I never re-enlisted. So my biggest regret is not getting the tab. Yeah. Because I actually had fun. I mean, it sucked. I always tell people it was the funnest, worst place I've ever been in my life.
So Stone graduated first. He was top of the whole class.
Wow.
That's who Stone was. Like, he was crazy good at anything he did. Wow. Like, it physically fit like him.
I had a buddy at 10th Mountain Division. His name's Curtis Leininger. They called him Loogie because they couldn't pronounce his name in basic training. Just an amazing guy, and it didn't matter what he did. It was like he could do no wrong. But we're really coming down to the end of this. I'm excited to go into the next episode and hear continue this story. We want to thank you again for joining us at Battleground Believers this episode. We hope you come back for the next episode. And again, we want to send a shout out to Randy Barr and his 2 Bar Blues recording and media studio. Don't be upset with me looking down. I'm trying to remember some stuff, and wanted to give a shout out to Randy Barr, our producer. Thank you so much. I'll get better at making sure he gets credit for this. And with that, remember, we want to tell his story through your story. Join us next time.